And Carlos Correa, speaking of big contracts, 3 years and $105.3 million, the highest AAV, average annual value, ever given to an infielder. Story with the Red Sox, Correa with the Twins, and Carlos Pena in the house. What can you better? This is such a good time right now seeing movement, right? Sometimes these guys get locked up to deals, kind of gets familiar. I love the fact when you got chess pieces moving, makes the whole season that much more exciting.
So exciting right now. Really pumped that baseball is back. But how fast these moves have been made has been incredible. It's been exciting, actually, to folloll. Difficult to keep up with.
It's true. Can I double check the phone? Okay, maybe
Wait, who went where?
Okay, yeah, all right. We do hope to hear, by the way, Nicholas Castellanos as well after his recent signing with the Philadelphia Phillies. But in the meantime, let's hear from Carlos Correa, now a member of the Minnesota Twins.
I'm super excited to join the Twins family. I'm here, and when we talked on the Zoom call, we only talked about winning, and that's what we want to build here. We want to build a championship culture. We want to move forward and win divisions, win championships, and that's my goal here. Make everybody around us better and just move forward with championship mentality. So thank you for having me. Super excited, like I said, and really looking forward to this new chapter in our lives. I want to take up on the challenge. It was not long ago when I was playing for an organization that it was last in the big leagues the year before I got there, losing 100-plus games. So I know what it takes to build a championship culture within the clubhouse. It starts within the clubhouse and all the way up to the front office. So I see that here with the talent that we have, and I see that we can get so much better in order for us to accomplish that goal to ultimately win a championship.
I can tell you that when we had a chance, we've obviously had some conversations with Scott about a number of players. When he expressed that this may be a fit for Carlos, and it certainly was for us, it went pretty quickly from there because it was very clear. Scott had presented that Carlos had real interest in us, and we knew who the player was, right? And we had done our homework beforehand. And when we talked creatively about the ways to make this happen, it was really seamless. Scott knows our organization. We know plenty about him and what he's looking for where he wants to place some of the players. And then when we learned Carlos, when we got on that Zoom, I can tell you within the first kind of 5 minutes, it felt like it was really natural and a really good fit.
Falvey, they're talking with Carlos Correa, now a member of the Minnesota Twins. Look at his WRC plus, a guy who's an absolute winner and brings a lot to the table. In 7 seasons, the Astros, a high of 152 back in 2017, but a season ago in 148 games, 134. There have been concerns about durability. Certainly you see that in terms of the games played back in 2016, 153. But he was healthy here, Los, in 2021, and a guy that really delivered not only offensively, defensively as well. The 7.2 WAR, second all of baseball, really stands out.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, only second to Simeon. So you understand that this guy is a great player. Look, when you look at his defensive metrics as well, you understand that he's the complete package. He had career highs and home runs and all of that, but his glove really elevated that number. He brings the entire package to this ball club. Is going to be a great addition. And let me show you how he goes about his business. The reason why he is just so good is because when it's time to go, he goes. As you can see right there, he's talking about like, okay, let's roll. He rises to the occasion. I know this is 2017, but I want to show you this big hits he got for his ball club that really turned games around. Right here, game winner with the game 2 of the LCS. And then if you continue to go, you see how pumped up he gets, how he gets everyone riled up. This one was an up and in fastball. He gets the barrel to it, hits a sky-high fly ball, gone into the seats for a home run. Huge clutch home run, makes the last out. And when they win the World Series. This was absolutely huge right here. Here's the last out. Here he jumps and celebrates. So Carlos Correa, huge part of that year. Okay, that's 2017, we're going to say. All right, let's crash that. Let's go ahead and scratch that. And now let's move forward. But you see how emotional he gets. I love that part about him. He's into it, and he gets everybody else going. He's got this swag. If you're an opposing player, man, you want to fight him. All right? But if you are on his team, you're all for it. I mean, he really brings that extra edge that we talked about that yesterday, Andon. It cannot be quantified how much this means. And this is what the Twins are getting. Right here, huge hit. Hey, what time is it? It's time to rise. And I did. And this was huge. He really played with a chip on his shoulder. He wanted to prove that his past successes were not a fluke. This was huge. I kind of like that about Carlos Correa.
I do too.
Right? Now, Look at the numbers. They speak for themselves. He's a good, solid player. 18 postseason home runs. That is something else. That is saying I'm able to rise to the occasion. When game is on the line, I want to be in the box. That's a superstar player right there.
Twins have lost 18 straight postseason games, which is almost unfathomable. And this guy in the postseason, a 967 OPS the last two playoffs, he brings it when the games matter the most. That's Carlos Correa. Now, remember the Minnesota Twins? Maybe there for a year, maybe there for 3 years. We'll find out. But Trevor Story, that's right, the never-ending story has a conclusion. As Trevor Story, the last big name as far as these free agent shortstops concerned, signed to the Boston Red Sox, a 6-year, $140 million contract, as now he'll be added to that roster, offense and defense. Story's pumped to be in Beantown.
Yeah, this is really a dream come true for me to play for an organization like Boston. This is just so much respect from afar for this team, for this organization, and getting to know AC, BOH, Sam Kennedy, all the ownership. This has been just a true privilege for me and my family. They've already made us feel like we're at home here. And at the end of the day, this kind of comes down to winning. And we felt like this was a great fit for me and my family. Just so looking forward to this opportunity to get on the field and chase this championship. At the end of the day, like I said, it kind of came down to I've been saying my whole career that it's about winning, and I felt that this was a really good fit for me to play second this year. Seeing this team and seeing the trend that they're on and kind of the players and the makeup of this team, that's really what kind of swayed me.
Trevor's work on the field speaks for itself. He's been one of the most dynamic players in the game. He impacts the game in every facet, at the plate, in the field, on the bases. His athleticism plays on both sides of the ball. He has the ability to help us in every aspect of the game. But he's just as impressive outside the lines. When you talk to people who know Trevor, you learn some things about him, and that's as much a reason why we're sitting here today.
Great move to get Trevor Story. Now the Boston Red Sox. Of course, the big question became what happens at shortstop, because Xander Bogaerts is their guy. In fact, the whole left side of the infield feels like for years to come, Xander endeavors, well, very quickly, just watch that. Trevor Story is going to be at second base. Bobby Dahlbeck, you see it first. Vasquez behind the plate. Jackie Bradley Jr. is now back with the Red Sox. Hernandez and Verdugo as well. So JD Martinez, of course, the DH there for Boston. It's interesting because the first thought is Trevor Story is a really talented player. We all get that, right? Los, this is a guy, he's tied for fifth in WAR among position players going back to the start of 2018. I know timing is everything, didn't have a strong 2021, but I always worry about Coors Field and that bias, home road splits. How does this translate going from Denver to Boston, which is still a hitter's park?
Yeah, no doubt about that. So the Green Monster is possibly going to help him. But there is something to be said about the fact that when you play in Colorado and you look at the home and away splits, they're very telling. I mean, if you see Trevor Story's numbers and you see his games on the road versus his game at home, you can certainly see that at home he did much better, exponentially better. When you look at that WRC plus at the bottom, you're thinking to yourself, wait a second, what does that mean? That now if he goes to Boston, he's going to perform more on the right column type of player? Is that the player we're getting? Well, not so fast. Let me show you what has happened in the past. Look at Matt Holliday. When he left Colorado, and then now he's out of Colorado, hits, you see the OPS plus at 146. He actually got better. DJ LeMahieu, monumental improvement when he left Colorado. Arenado dropped, but a little bit, not too much, and it's only one season. Fowler got exponentially better. You see, Iannetta is ridiculous how much he jumped when he left Colorado. And of course, Seth Smith right there, another example, just to give you a feel. Yeah. Now, you ask yourself, how in the world is this possible? There is something to be said about those guys that play in Colorado all year, right? So they play 81 games in Colorado and then 81 games on the road. It's very difficult to change your body. It's going to feel it immediately because you get used to playing in Colorado, then you get out of there and it feels totally different. Now, every single player will tell you that it's very difficult to put a finger on it, but I'll tell you this, when I played there, we needed oxygen when we came off the field. So these guys have to get used to playing 81 games there, and then they go to a lower altitude, and it's like, where am I? I'm in another planet.
Yeah.
When you get used to the new environment, then these players settle and they're able to go out there and perform the way they're capable. So I'm not too concerned about those splits. I'm more concerned about him feeling comfortable in Boston, getting the opportunity. Does he like playing second base? The Green Monster, is he going to make him pull happy? Nah, stay middle the other way. These are my only concerns. As far as those splits, I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah, Dan O'Dowd, of course, was there in the Rockies forever. He said that players just saw the ball differently in Colorado. Did you feel that way?
Well, the ball will react differently, right? It's not going to break as much, perhaps. Maybe you get a little bit more of a Rice effect in Colorado than you do away, or maybe vice versa. So we will go down to the nitty-gritty of the physics. The point is that, yes, the ball reacts differently up there. The ball breaks different. Maybe you don't get the same pop on the curveball. Maybe you don't get the same breaks. So when you go back to normal altitude, you see that, well, that was a nastier slider than I'm used to seeing.
Yeah, right.
What was that? That moved like a foot more. So, we can break that stuff down. In general, I'm just thinking about physically what it feels like to play 81 games at that high altitude. It'll take a toll on you.
And he's been very good defensively, so I'm curious to see how that shift goes from shortstop to second base. Xander Bogaerts is a guy, obviously don't want to alienate him, but if they have everyone on the same page, everyone knows their positions, hopefully it won't be an issue moving forward.
I don't think so. These guys are professionals, and at the end of the day, okay, you got Bogaerts. Don't fix it if it's not broken. I mean, this guy's an absolute stud.
Right.
I think Trevor Story joining a ball club like the Red Sox, I think he's thrilled to be there, and the future is bright. There's going to be some decisions that have to be made by the Red Sox in the next 365 days, because a lot of guys are on walk years. There's some Devers is coming up as well. We have to make a decision on what's going to happen there. Bogaerts can walk.
He can opt out after this season.
Yes, so very interesting dynamic there. Sale's been hurt. So there's a couple questions there with the Red Sox, but the team just got better with Trevor Story.
Exactly. Bottom line, you added an asset, you added a talent. They've done that with Trevor Story.
Tell me a story.